Luna beats a dead horse by dark horse. Bored. Bored, bored, bored. Luna sat in her room, looking out at the late afternoon sun and counting down the minutes until she'd need to raise the moon and take her turn at watch. An echoing sound of 3 sets of hoofsteps in a distant hallway finally provided her a brief respite from tedium. Judging by the length of her stride, the loudest belonged to Celestia. No pony else had legs that long. The other couldn't be any pony else but Twilight Sparkle, with a characteristic high-stepping exuberance, while with her mentor. The last was vaguely familiar, but definitely not common. The sound of carefully timed hooves gnawed at Luna. Where had she heard that sound before? Applejack? No. Fluttershy? Maybe. More hoofsteps clattered. Closer now, right behind. Who was that third pony?
Good afternoon, sister.
She said, not even turning to face them as they stood in the doorway. She still hadn't finalized her guess.
And Twilight Sparkle.
Third pony had to be the major mare.
And...
Finally whirling around, she found her predictions were woefully inaccurate. Luna gave a frustrated snort.
Rarity, what brings all of you here?
Oh, we were just visiting.
Twilight said with a cheerful smile.
I wanted to say hello on my way out. Are you busy? I'm afraid not.
Celestia answered for her sister.
She finds herself at loose ends these days.
The beginning of a glare formed on Luna's face, but she soon relented, nodding as she looked at the floor.
You just need a hobby.
Twilight said.
I love reading, as I know you do. Why don't you try the other side, writing?
Luna held a hoof up to her mouth for a moment, but still wore a frown.
But what do I write?
Oh, just have fun with it.
Rarity chimed in as she stepped to the front.
Do what every pony else is doing.
Oh, that's just beating a dead horse.
Twilight replied with a grimace. What a dreadful thought. But if that's what ponies want. Luna sat in front of her computer, looking over to the highest-rated recent novellas released for public consumption, rated by the Canceled Times viewers. Luna uses a toothbrush. Luna discovers crabgrass. Luna eats her first fluffernutter. She appeared to be a subject of choice. It was odd, when in Rome, and with a dead horse no less. Her first idea forming already, Luna began typing on her word processor, sending her words flowing onto the screen.
Luna was soaring over the forest at night on her patrol route when she encountered a gruesome sight. A limp body lying on the crude path below. She landed next to it and prodded it with a hoof, but there was no signs of life. Pressing an ear to its chest, she could detect no breathing or heartbeat, and the smell soon convinced her that she was far too late to be any help. She pulled a golf club from her saddlebag and gave the body a solid whack. It did nothing to revive the poor beast, but it didn't seem to be any worse for wear either. She hit it again and again, to no useful effect, but it wasn't any less gratifying than her monotonous sincerity duty. It was an average evening.
After stretching it out to a few pages, Luna submitted it to her publisher. He'd get things out in the public eye as soon as possible. Time to wait. Soon, she had a reader recommendation. Then 5, then 10, 50, 100, 1,000. Breath caught in her throat as she watched her rank shoot up until she was at the top of the Canceled Times daily recommendations. Front and center for all Equestria at sea.
Well, that was easy.
She clicked on her own story and scrolled through the first few comments.
Oh my god! There's no way that is real Luna. Murr! Please continue to do this story.
Luna shut out of her chair and ran to the window, her heart racing. A sly one-sided smile crept onto her face until a trace of her sense of responsibility returned. Casting a cursory glance around the moonlit lands below her window, she saw no obvious signs of invasion. Surely the guards could see it on their own for one night. She strolled back to her desk, leaned this way and that to crack her neck and opened a fresh document.
Luna found herself trotting in the desert near Appaloosa for no apparent reason, and happened upon a desiccated corpse. Some helpless traveler had fallen from the train without any source of water, no doubt. In the stillness of the noonday heat, she lowered her head and drew her mouth into a frown. Her respects paid, Luna pulled a crowbar out of her saddlebag and bent it against the body's flank. No life returned to the empty husk, but neither had the predicted become any more dire. As she took another swing, producing nothing but a cloud of sandy dust from the bleached hide. A disapproving buzzard looked down from the overhanging cliff, but it left after considering its options. Once Luna had gritted her teeth and brandished the prey bar at it. All in all, the afternoon turned out to be unproductive, but at least the evening coolness had set in by the time she was bored of it, making the remainder of her journey pleasant.
With a giddy smile plastered on her face, Luna watched her story climb the rankings until it joined its predecessor among the top recommendations. She didn't even bother reading the comments this time, as her sales ratcheted up faster than she could track. No time like the present. On to the next one.
Luna soared over the ocean, revealing in the beautiful starlight reflecting off the waves. She glided low, allowing her hoof tips to trail along the water and kick up a fine salt spray. Just as she was about to tilt into a steep bank for a return ship, she spotted an object bobbing like a cork on the surface. A badly sunburnt stallion had apparently clung to the life ring until the very last, but in the end it had been for naught. She pulled a pipe wrench from her saddlebag and clocked him on the skull in the hope that she could overcome the astronomical odds against its being the right course of action. It was not. After a few more impacts, the body slid through the ring and appeared no more. A wasted hour, perhaps, but Celestia could no longer argue her about the pointlessness of the totting a pipe wrench along on her patrols.
Luna clapped her hooves together as her name now occupied the top 3 places in the What's Popular box. Her high was broken by a high-pitched ding. Clicking on the icon that had popped up, she scanned over an email from Twilight Sparkle.
Luna, is that you? You do know that beating a dead horse is just an expression, right? You made it work, though. Why don't you try self-referential humor? You know, like a story about you writing a story about you writing a story. Ponies seem to go crazy for those, too.
Luna slouched in her chair as she shook her head and held a hoof to her forehead. Indulging in a brief chuckle at her own expense, she had searched on such stories. Her eyes brightening, she scooted a little closer to the keyboard. Bored. Bored, bored, bored. Luna sat in her room, looking out at the late afternoon sun and counting down the minutes until she'd need to raise the moon and take her turn at watch. An echoing sound of 3 sets of hoofsteps in a distant hallway finally provided her a brief respite from tedium. The end.